Less than 3 years ago, the Catholics of Roan's African township voted for a church to hold 5,000 people, and their church is on its way to completion. The architect, Mr. Thorne, and Father Cornelius Tessari are supervising this amazing monument to the Africans' faith and effort. It will probably cost about £75,000, but so magnificent have been the Roan African sacrifice and contributions that money has come from many other sources, including £3,000 from Pope John. The floor alone will require 15,000 square feet of terrazzo, and it will be the largest church anywhere in the Federation. Time and again, the work has been threatened by the drying up of funds. But to Father Cornelius, the fact that work has never stopped is an affirmation of the Africans' faith and a worldwide response to their religious resolution. It's art in the open air, in Cecil Square to be precise, as the Salisbury and District Art Club stages an exhibition. The artlook in most cases was modern, even to a chameleon which struck a note of compromise. The idea of bringing art to the people is a decidedly good one, for it encourages the public to accept art as part of their everyday lives. The result of the experiment was gratifying, and far more people viewed the pictures than would otherwise have been the case. The cost of staging exhibitions in galleries is frequently high, and in any case, many of the subjects gained by being viewed in the open air to which they belong. When Loder opened the bowling for Surrey in Salisbury, cricket history was in the making, and when Raymond Gripper hit it for 4, it was the beginning of an innings of 73 which put Gripper right into the cricketing spotlight. The Surrey bombshell was Tony Locke, who nearly had Percy Mansell caught by Stewart. Mansell went on to make 66. There was enough good cricket to please everyone. The tail-enders fared badly, and soon after Loder had Arnott caught by Locke at leg slip, Rhodesia were all out for 246, a good total against class bowling. Edrich and Fletcher opened for Surrey, but English cricket seems to be short of solid openers. Fletcher seemed to be uncomfortable against the new ball and was soon out for a duck. His partner failed to get going, in spite of being dropped by Arnott behind the wicket off Napier's bowling. Surrey rallied later and managed to amass 297 runs, which gave them a lead of 51. Gripper again came to light with 46, most of them made in partnership with Lewis, who scored 20. Rhodesia struggled against Locke and Barrington in the second innings, scoring 160, to which Gripper, caught behind the wicket off Locke, made the highest contribution. This left Surrey with only 109 to make. Then Percy Mansell took over. Among his victims, Surridge caught by Gripper from a skyer. Mansell took 7 wickets for 43 and proved himself the man of the hour. Of the tail-enders, only Sweatman with 17 not out offered any real resistance. And in a really dramatic ending, Percy Mansell clean-bowled Alec Bedser to give Rhodesia a victory by 2 runs. The first reptile garden in northern Rhodesia has been opened near Kitwe, and the owner-curator is Mr. John Newby. Among his 200 specimens, covering 30 varieties, are most of the Central African snakes, including the gaboon viper. The gaboon viper, like the puff adder, is viviparous. They bear live young. And so too is the American rattlesnake. In fact, this one is believed to be the first to produce young in Africa. Puff adders and other heavy-bodied snakes are apt to drown, and it's a problem to get them to take dead food. The garden affords close study of snakes, but the more dangerous varieties, such as mambas and spitting cobras, are kept behind glass. It has tremendous educational value, and there's quite an art in handling snakes, part of which is knowing how to prevent the snakes from handling you. As Kariba continues to take on its final shape, it's hard to believe that the unruly Zambezi would ever come to this. Yet though the main drama is over, Kariba has lost none of its fascination, and future tourists who drive over the highway along the dam wall will still marvel at this mighty man-made miracle. One is reminded of an anthill of gigantic proportions, and even the minor details are major undertakings. For instance, thousands of tons of concrete are going into the high-level spillways to carry the overflow when it becomes necessary. With the dam as a central point, everything radiates outwards. The Kariba Lake is spreading and growing, and a network of pylons are linking Kariba to the rest of the Federation. The conductors which will carry the power are being prepared and erected, the ends crimped to form a joint with the insulators. The insulators themselves are large and heavy and have to be manhandled to hoist them up to the pylons. A further example of massive minor details. High above ground level, sure-footed riggers are working on the pylons, concentrating on the job in hand and disregarding danger. It's certainly no occupation for the squeamish. This is not my idea of traveling by air, but the men think nothing of it as they ride the conductors to complete connections. It shows what men can become accustomed to when it's necessary, and in this case there's no alternative. It's just part of the job and is accepted as such. As the network of pylons and conductors is erected, switching stations are being built to distribute the current which will be generated. There's the same urgency here as there is in completing the dam. This is the Leopard's Hill substation near Lusaka, where the power will be stepped down from 330 to 88 kV. Thick, oil-cooled insulated cables are being cut to form part of the grid system. With so much public attention centered on the building of the dam, the layman has tended to overlook such ancillary works. But the Kariba project must be viewed as a whole to appreciate its true and colossal magnitude. We must look at the web and not merely the spider. We must consider not only the source of so much power, but how it will reach the entire Federation. Then, and only then, does Kariba assume its full, magnificent significance. In Lusaka, a touring team of South African swimmers compete against a local team. The local team was far from disgraced, but the South African contingent broke no fewer than 6 Northern Rhodesian records. One of the highlights was a diving display by Tut Marwick, starting with a forward dive with inward twist. Marwick was placed 5th in the last Empire Games. And now the South African champion demonstrates a backward dive in the pike position. Here comes an inward dive. The 1.5 somersault in pike position. And to wind up a brilliant display, Tut Marwick does a 1.5 somersault with a double twist.